Across the country, more Americans are facing rising costs,
The grocery prices are like everything else. They're in a bad state.
loneliness, and uncertainty over where to turn for support. And it's not just about making ends meet, it's affecting our mental health.
Everyone's trying to figure themselves out.
5 years since the global pandemic changed our world, its ripple effects are still impacting our basic needs, emotional security, and connections with others. But you are not alone. From coast to coast, we are also finding stories of hope
I am doing so much better. There's a prettier smile on my face.
and solutions making everyone's life a little brighter.
Your mental health is your everything.
The state of mental health in America starts right now. Here's something that's not always talked about: the state of mental health in America. I'm Dr. Nicole Clark. I hope something said during our time together informs you, inspires hope, and makes life just a bit more manageable. To help you do that, let's start with this triangle. It's part of psychologist Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It is also our roadmap for the next half hour. As a therapist, I use it to break down the needs we all have. Our most basic need is for food, clothing, and shelter. Then we seek a sense of security, including emotional security. After that, we pursue love and belongingness. Let's start with our basic needs and how they have been challenged. Over the last 5 years, rising costs have made it harder for many people to obtain essentials. In 2020, more than 38 million Americans faced food insecurity. That's about 1 in 10 of us. In the most recent data, that number jumped nearly 24% to over 47 million people. Also, more people are experiencing homelessness. Last year, the U.S. saw an 18% increase in people without a home as compared to the year before. On top of that, more than 7 million people are looking for work, according to the latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. These are the facts and figures, but the real question is, how are everyday Americans doing? How are you doing? We hit the streets and asked that question. Here are some of the responses.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Descartes. Kiara Graham.
Stephen Sherman,
Yasmin Lyons.
Vicky Cronus.
Zanaya Nobles.
Zaire Cruz, Jacob Manzanera.
My name is Christina.
If I can be honest, I think that the current state of politics has way more to do with people's mental health.
It's impacting how we think of ourselves. It's impacting how we show up for ourselves and other people.
I know several people, that have been a part of political divides, family members that cut each other off, even though they've known each other for years.
It has been bad. They making all these food prices go up and stuff. I feel like me getting older, I'm really gonna have to make money. So it's really a lot of stress. I don't like to talk about my feelings. Yeah, that makes it hard.
At least my generation, the Gen Z, they're doing pretty bad. But if you actually speak to someone, they put a persona, like they have a facade. But truthfully, if you get to know them, this smile that we have is just not who we truly are.
We hear you. We are dealing with some real concerns, from political disagreements, regardless of who you support, to affording food these days, to juggling it all while saying you're okay. All of that can take a major toll on your mental health. Former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams shared his perspective with me. It's a path towards better mental health through building connections with others.
We have to understand that mental health does not exist in a vacuum. It's impacted by your physical health, and it impacts your physical health.
What would you say is the current state of mental health in America?
I think it's important that we understand that the state of mental health is concerning, to say the least.
Many mental health professionals and researchers say a number of Americans who may have symptoms or concerns regarding their mental health may not even recognize it. Where do you think that disconnect lies?
Education is an important part of this. Mental health problems disproportionately affect certain communities. So we see these problems of stigma disproportionately impact, for example, the LGBTQ plus community, which faces significantly higher risk of suicide and mental health issues. Minority communities, especially Black and Latino populations, experience poorer mental health outcomes. And then finally, youth are increasingly struggling with mental health challenges. 1 in 3 adolescents report symptoms of depression and anxiety, and that is a shocking stat to me as a father of 3 teenagers.
What gives you hope, and what would you say is the path forward?
I think it's important for parents to make it normal to talk about mental health around the dinner table. And like I said, not from a deficit standpoint, not from a negative what's wrong with you standpoint, but from a how are things going? What gives me hope are our young people. Our young people are far more likely to talk about their mental health, to say I need a timeout, to really talk about it in a way that we need to be discussing mental health. We often, when we're talking about mental health, we really in our minds are thinking about mental illness. We're thinking about one end of the spectrum. But we want to ask ourselves not just how do we recognize, diagnose, and treat problems, but how do we promote mental wellness? And we do that by building healthy societies where people feel like they aren't isolated, where they feel like they've got friends, where they feel like their basic needs are met. And those basic needs are food, water, shelter, but it's also companionship. And so if we can build healthier communities, then we'll have more people healthy from a mental health perspective.
Now let's unpack that advice. By building healthier communities, we can create a healthy America together. But that's a challenge, especially when the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration reports more than 60 million Americans are living with some form of mental illness. And about 20% of them also battle a substance use disorder. I spoke with Dr. Arthur Kleinschmidt, who was recently appointed by the Trump administration to lead SAMHSA. In his first network interview, Dr. Kleinschmidt told me investing in people is the path to building a stronger society.
Everybody is capable of finding recovery and living a life of joy. I've done a lot of family counseling in my life, and I just want them to be left with the idea of hope. That, like I said, nobody is too sick to recover. We can all do this thing, especially if we start working together.
So how do you make that connection toward better mental health? One woman shares what she's doing to help her clients get the support they need.
I build a bridge with community to the mental health resources. Your mental health is your everything.
We have to take a quick break, but first, if you or a loved one needs support, grab your phone and take a picture of the resources here on your screen. You can also scan the QR code for more information on our website. The State of Mental Health in America continues after this short break.